Kristen Hung, a registered dietitian nutritionist at Torrance Memorial. We're celebrating National Nutrition Month this year with the theme of Fuel for the Future. We're looking at choices we can make to not only help improve our health, but also to help preserve the environment for future generations. One choice we can consider is to compost. Composting is a way to recycle organic material like food scraps and leaves into valuable fertilizer that can help enrich soil and plants. To help us learn more about composting, we're here today with Master Gardener Judi Gerber. So Judi, composting can feel a little intimidating to people, but can you share a little bit of the benefits from your perspective?
Sure. One of the biggest benefits is that it helps our gardens by improving the health of the soil, and it can promote healthier plant growth. So that's one reason we use it. But beyond that, a larger reason is that composting offers so many environmental benefits. It prevents soil erosion, it reduces waste and diverts it from landfills, it conserves water, and it assists in stormwater management.
Composting may also positively impact our health by providing nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to soil and thereby food. It also reduces chemicals from fertilizer and pesticides that end up in the food that we eat. With that said, where should we start with composting, Judi? Can you break it down to 5 simple steps for us?
So basically, the first thing is you want to set up your space for your composting. And it can fit into whatever size yard or area that you actually have. So you can use an open pile, you can bury it in trenches or pits, or enclose the compost in a compost bin. You can have a bin that turns or one that doesn't. And you can even use a worm bin because worms are really beneficial for gardens. So regardless of what you use, it's recommended that your compost pile be at least 1 cubic yard big so that it provides the minimal insulation needed so that it properly heats up, because we're going for hot compost. So the second step is to make sure you use the right ingredients. Compost that's finished is made up of carbon, nitrogen, water, and air. Combined with 50% green materials, 50% brown materials make the best recipe. Green materials have more nitrogen and brown materials have more carbon. So when you start the compost process, you also want to be mindful to cut your pieces into 1 inch or less so that they're able to break down faster. So you want to avoid things in your compost bin. That's the third step. You want to avoid meat, dairy, oily things. You want to avoid putting too much bread and starch and pasta in there. All of these can cause odors in your compost pile, and it can attract rodents and pests. The next thing is number 4, compost needs to be hot in order to break down and turn into that black gold. So this process involves some things like temperature. You want to make sure that the ideal temperature gets to about 130 to 140 degrees so that the aerobic organisms can grow. The other piece of the good recipe is to make sure it's consistently aerated. Aeration or air creates that aerobic environment that helps speed up the composting process, and it also reduces odors. So it's recommended that you turn that pile or you rotate your tumbler at least once a week during the summer months and about every 3 to 4 weeks in the winter months. The other step of the good recipe success is maintaining moisture. Moisture is essential for composting. Your pile should always feel like a wrung out sponge. Too dry a pile may cause the process of composting to slow down, and too wet a pile may also create an anaerobic environment which can cause bad odors and again slow down that process. The last step is everybody's favorite step, is using that black gold compost. It needs to entirely stabilize and mature before you actually use it, because not only can immature compost harm your plants, but it can also keep attracting those other rodents like rats and other pests to your bin and your yard. Finished or mature compost has certain characteristics. It's crumbly and it's smooth, and it doesn't have any recognizable pieces or scraps like it did when you put it in the pile. It smells like rich earth. It doesn't smell bad. If it smells like ammonia or sour, that means it's just not ready and it needs more time. Its color, like I said, should be dark and rich, and the size of that compost pile at the time it's mature should be 1/3 of the size it was when you first started. The temperature in that pile should be within 10 degrees Fahrenheit of the temperature outside, especially in the middle of that pile. So once you're sure that your compost is mature, there are some great ways to use it, and Gardeners use it in the following ways. They use it as a mulch, they add it to potting soil, they can work it into their crop beds if they have a big area, they distribute it on lawns, mix it into garden beds, and they add it to the soil around the fruit trees that they have in their yard.
Thank you so much, Judi. Are there any resources that you would point people to if they want more information or want to learn more as they think about composting at home?
So we're lucky that we live in LA County. The LA County has a smart gardening program. And in the South Bay here, there's an actual LA County smart gardening demonstration area at Columbia Park in Torrance. They also have plenty of information on their website. They have been doing their classes online due to COVID, and they also have resources of when those classes are available. But even if you take the class online or in person, when you take a class, the benefit is that they offer the compost bins for sale during those classes at a discount. They even have worm bins for sale as well.
Thank you everyone for watching this video about composting. We hope you've enjoyed it and we hope you'll give it a try at home as one way we can help fuel for the future.